All right, welcome back everyone to episode 9 of Building in Public with Jason at Commercial Legal. For today's topic, I'll be talking about which large language models I use to write AI content that ranks for my law firm clients. Um, Yesterday's video, I talked about how I get my law firm clients AI generated content to actually rank and stay ranking. So it's a kind of a natural extension for today's episode to talk about which LLMs, which models to actually use from my experience. So, according to the regular schedule of the show, I'll be talking about what I did today, and then my business learning, and then the main topic, and then I'll answer some questions on my YouTube channel. So let's get started. So what I did today, I actually woke up at like 3 o'clock this morning because I got a text from one of my clients saying that their website wasn't working. Some of the contact form wasn't working, so I stayed up for like an hour and a half fixing that. Um, went back to sleep at like 5:30 or like 4:30 or something, and then throughout the day just sorting out a whole bunch of other issues with that particular client's website. They are not a law firm; they're actually a car detailing service in Sydney, and yeah, they also have a web shop. So I was trying to fix some issues with the credit card payments not coming through. Got that all sorted out mostly, and the other things I did was just doing some more of the amendments and revisions to the new client's website that I had onboarded last month. They actually have some lead magnets in Typeform and in Score app, and I was just redoing all those lead magnets, the landing pages, to make them look really nice and look on brand, so they look like as if they belong to the same firm as the website that I'm building for. And then also filled out the. So I actually purchased $5,000 worth of backlinks from Jackie from Indexy. So I was filling out what the URLs I want to have backlinks sent to, as well as the anchor text and some other details like the scheduling of when I want those backlinks to be made. Most of them will be made in March, hopefully, and then the rest of the 50 backlinks. I think there's around 14 that'll be made in April. So I'll update you guys on the backlinks from Jackie, and then yeah, that's about it. I think. Just a lot of website stuff today. Hopefully, I'll be able to offload a lot of this website stuff to my web developer in the future, in the near future, maybe the next 2 months for sure. I'm only doing the website stuff because he's currently still building out another client's website, the website for a new client. So he's kind of flat out for now, and I'm kind of on a time crunch to get this particular website up and running. So that's why I'm doing it for now. So business learning. One thing that I realized, maybe for a while now, but it only just started to, maybe in the last 2 months, it really started to really become real to me, is you want to provide, me as a business owner, I want to make sure that I never get mad. I never get mad or angry at, visibly mad or angry or express anger at any of the team members that work with me, because as soon as I do that, then the dynamic of the relationship between me and my team members will change negatively forever, essentially, because they will start doing things because of the possibility of me being mad if they don't do it, and that really changes how they perform with the tasks that I've given them. I know the feeling of how they would feel intimately because I was an employee for a very long time, and there was one particular manager who would actually who would get angry and mad, and it's actually no, there's two managers that would get really angry and mad in their feedback, and some of it was directed towards me, some of it I actually observed as a third party, and I knew the feeling I felt, and just contributed to me not wanting to do my best anymore. And I don't want that feeling among the team members that I work with. And so I always use positive reinforcement and praise to actually, pivot a team member to perform the right behavior, the behavior that I want them to do. And this is something that's really been drilled in my mind as I watch more Layla Hormozi videos, where she said in one of her YouTube shorts that she wants to be known as a CEO who builds her team with praise, not with punishment. And that puts it so clear to me that as a business owner, we need to make sure that we treat our team in a way where they want to show up every day doing the best that they want to, as opposed to doing what they think is required of them solely to avoid punishment and to avoid pain. Hopefully, I made that clear enough. And hopefully, as I make these videos, the business learnings will actually be more and more succinct and make sense a lot more. I'm still trying to get better at making videos and putting my thoughts through voice and on video. So yeah, so that's my business learning. Okay, let's talk about the main topic. So let me share my screen and then I'll show you the notes. And then, oh, by the way, before I share my screen, type in. No one's been typing in any comments to my previous videos. I feel kind of sad, but that's okay. But if you are watching this video at this point in time, type in AI content in the comments for the algorithm. And yeah, so let's share my screen. All right, what we're looking at is the show notes. If you want to get access to these show notes, you can either take a screenshot of the screen or you could sign up in a link in the description. You'll be sent all these show notes for the previous shows as well as every show going forward. You can just access it with one simple link. That link, just bookmark it on your browser. And yeah, I don't spam you with emails. I'm not even sending emails out except for the link to the show notes. So yeah, let's talk about the LLMs I use to write content. I split this into two main functions. The first is writing blog outlines and the articles. And then the second function is making improvements to each topic written for each article. So let's talk about the first one, which is writing the blog outlines and the articles. I use primarily and exclusively, actually, two main LLMs as of today. The first one is Google Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking. And I love this model because of a few things. One is it has such a massive context window. 1 million tokens is unheard of, except for people who use Google Gemini. And so that's around 700,000 words. That's so many words and resources that I can prompt my AI agents and also provide provide knowledge based details to the AI agent to actually write the content that I want it to write using the tonality that I want it to use, with the preferences I want it to consider. The next one is it's really really cheap. It is really really cheap. It's not as cheap as DeepSeek, that's for sure, but it's really cheap. I don't know how cheap it is in terms of like how many cents per token or whatever, but I know it's cheap. Thirdly, it follows instructions really well, and that's largely based on the fact that it's a thinking model, it's a reasoning model, so it does like another layer of thinking on top of the content that it's about to generate to really adjust the first draft of what it has produced to match the prompt and instructions that I have given it as part of my agent. So I'm really a big fan of thinking models. I don't use any other models except for thinking models now. So, yep. As part of the fact that they can follow instructions really well, I really love how its tonality and humanness is really dialed in. It just sounds a lot human, a lot more human and a lot more human and natural when generating the content that I ask it to generate. This is given the right prompt, of course. You have to give it the right prompting, the right knowledge base, the right sample articles to model its writing on. But all that dialed in, the tonality and humanness is on point. It's also really, really fast. It's like the fastest LLM that I use as part of my AI agents. So, yeah. And then it also doesn't hallucinate, which is really, really, really important for the legal content that I write for my clients. Because obviously, with legal content, it's the factual accuracy is critical. Otherwise, I'll be doing a poor job. And obviously, this also depends on the prompts that you give it, right? So you got to make sure that you include the right layer of prompting to make sure that it does the right checks to make sure it doesn't hallucinate. What I don't like about Gemini in general, really, is that it can't handle sensitive topics like at all. So we have criminal law firms on our panel on our panel of clients, and so when we are writing articles on sexual assault, on murder, on any dodgy topics like domestic violence, Google just refuses to write those articles. It even refuses to write the blog outlines as well. So That leads me to GPT-1 Mini. So this is the second model that I use either as a backup when Google Gemini is experiencing outages or just it's just refusing to cooperate, which doesn't happen often. Or I use Google GPT-1 Mini when we're running sensitive topics. It's still relatively cheap because it's a mini model, but it's not as cheap as Google Gemini. I can't tell you how much it is. It's probably like a few dollars per article, based on the end of month billing that I get from OpenAI. But don't hold my don't hold this word against me. I'm not quite sure, but it's still pretty cheap. It also follows instructions really well because it's a reasoning model, so it has that second layer of thinking. The tonality and humanness of the content generated is really good as well. Again, given the right prompts. It's fast because it's a mini model, and it also doesn't hallucinate as much as well, given the right prompts. So it's pretty much equal in terms of performance with Google Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking, except it can't handle as much resources provided to it, or it can't handle as much prompting or knowledge base content. So it's only got like 128,000 tokens, which is around 96,000 words. So not a lot, but still, for the most part, enough for a lot of the content that we write for our clients. Also, yeah, I already mentioned this, but it can handle sensitive topics. I think it's just a Google thing that Gemini can't or refuses to talk about, like these dodgy topics. I've done a lot of prompting to try to get Google Gemini to handle these sensitive topics, but it just doesn't work, and so it's just not worth the effort anymore to try to get Google Gemini to do it. I just use GPT instead. I've tried GPT-3 Mini to as part of the AI agents that write content for me, and I'm not a big fan of it. It can't follow instructions as well. It's just a little bit dodgy in terms of how it responds. It doesn't respond in the same way as how I would um, normally expect O1 Mini or Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking to respond, and that's partly because, I mean, it's kind of expected that every LLM just responds differently to even the same prompt, but even then, like it's like sometimes when you give the same prompt to different LLMs, they kind of respond similarly, but GPT-3 Mini just doesn't. It's like far removed as to what you would expect it to respond with, which is a shame because I was looking forward to upgrading my AI agents from O1 Mini to O3 Mini, but if it's not broken, then don't fix it. Also, the tonality and humanness of the output is not great as well. Again, that's probably down to requiring some heavy prompt engineering and different types of prompting. But again, I just don't have the time to do that. And at the moment, GPT-1 Mini serves its purpose of writing articles. The context window is a shame, but with even O3 Mini, I was actually looking forward to it because I thought it was going to be smarter, and more importantly, it could handle 200,000 tokens for the context window. But unfortunately, I can't use it. I tried DeepSeek R1 and gave up after like an hour or two because it's just so ridiculously slow. It is so slow. I'm sure you've seen how DeepSeek R1 actually responds. It generates the thinking, right? It generates the thinking, but it's so slow in its generation of thinking, and then you got to wait, and it's so dense in terms of what it goes through when it's thinking, and is really slow as well. So writing the blog outline, let alone the entire article with DeepSeek R1, just makes it just not viable in terms of speed. So I'm not using DeepSeek R1. I really wish I'm able to, because some of the I like the way it generates its thinking. I like the way it thinks, but it's just too slow, so not worth it. And Claude 3.7. I've not used Claude 3.7. This only came out like a few days ago, right? So I'm going to spend some time, maybe at the end of March, to implement Claude 3.7 in one of my AI agents and see how it goes. I'll probably do an update video to compare the performance of Claude 3.7 with the other LLMs. So those are the LLMs that I use and don't use for. Well, those are the main LLMs that I use, and the LLMs that I don't use after using them for writing blog outlines and articles. Let's talk about the what I use to make improvements to article topics. So I specifically and only use GPT-1 Mini to make improvements to article topics. And what do I mean by that? It means when I go to, where is it? Where is it? I think it was this one here. Okay, so I'm in Merlin AI. I'm pretty sure I've shown this tool before in my previous videos. When I go to create a new chat, and then I access my prompt library, if I could find it. Where is the prompt library? Oh, here we go. Prompt structure. So this is a prompt that I use when I want to improve. Like, let's just say an AI agent generates one topic of an article. Most times that topic needs a little bit more improvement to implement a little bit more lists, some more to break up some denser paragraphs into smaller paragraphs for easier readability. So this is the prompt that I use. You can take a screenshot of this prompt now on the screen, or I'll actually make a video just showing you again, and I'll share this prompt in. I'll share this prompt in the show notes so you can copy it. And then, so yeah, I send this prompt using O1 Mini, and then when I send the prompt, it will ask me to provide the draft topic that was written by the AI agent, and then I paste in the draft topic, and then in Markdown formatting, and then I send it again, and then it generates, it improves the structure of that draft topic without changing the facts, without removing any facts, while keeping the same tonality and writing style as the draft. So I use O1 Mini because it's fast, it follows the instructions really, really well, and it does a pretty good job at implementing lists where necessary and breaking up big paragraphs into smaller paragraphs for topics. So if it works, then I don't need to fix it. So I really like O1 Mini, even though when we click on the LLM selector, you can see he has all the models, and then when you scroll down, O1 Mini actually appears as an archive model because it's older than O3 Mini, I guess. But I still use it because it's really, really good, and I really recommend you guys use O1 Mini as well. And yeah, so that is that. End of the topic. So let's talk about the YouTube comments. I got two YouTube comments. Thanks so much, guys, for commenting. So different perspectives. Welcome back. So let's have a look. Hi, thank you for the previous answers. Much appreciated. I'd like to follow up on the article writing time. I'm trying to position myself in a broad topic, but with a very niche perspective that goes against the mainstream knowledge in that niche. Issue is, as you can assume, is that there are a little to none number of sources I can use to generate the content using AI. I tried, but it returned the mainstream based articles, so useless from my point of view. Is the only way for me to build the authority is to spend this many hours per article to create quality content? Or do you think there's some shortcuts that I can use to save some time? Okay, thanks so much. Different perspectives for commenting. Let me just thumbs it up and then heart it, and then I also say replied in BIP9. Okay, so you are writing a topic in a very broad niche. So you're writing a topic. You're writing a topic that's covered very broadly by a lot of different publishers, but you have a very niche perspective. So there's not a lot of, if any, existing articles that you can use to feed the AI to write your article on that very niche perspective, because there's not many, if any, existing articles with the exact same niche perspective. Okay, I get that. And you're saying that the problem is the fact that there is little to none a number of sources you can use. So what can you do? I have some experience in this. I want to answer this question based purely on my experience, right? Because I don't like to be I don't like to make shit up and pretend I know what I'm talking about. It's just not genuine and not helpful, really. So, from my experience, I've written. One of my clients is in a pretty niche area. One of my law firm clients is in a pretty niche area of law, and what sucks about it is that for a lot of topics that I'm writing to establish topical authority in that particular practice area, there's not a lot of existing blog articles that cover that topic because it's very niche. There's not a lot of these law firms around in Australia, let alone around the world, talking about the Australian jurisdiction on that practice area. So what I do is I find primary sources. So primary sources are legislation. Like I go directly to the source. I look at government documents, government published PDF guides, government published parliamentary papers, government published the actual legislative text, right? Not even a summary or an article of the actual legislation, but the legislative, the regulatory text, the actual black letter law. And then I feed that to the AI agent, blog outline creator, and article writer to generate a blog outline based on that content. The That being said, so if you really can't find any sources on that particular niche, that's okay. What I would do, and actually this is what I've done, is I get the sources that I can, and hopefully primary sources, and then in my AI agent, you probably would have seen in one of my other videos. I think it's the AI agent video. I have a field which requires me to include like additional instructions and additional notes. And so that's where I would put, focus on, I would say something like, focus on this particular angle or focus on this particular subtopic in the topic that I'm writing about. And so the AI agent would ingest all the sources that I can get, and then it'll be prompted, right, to only focus on that particular area that I told it to focus on. So if I was in your position, I would find as many sources as I can on this particular broad topic, any sort of broad topic that's related to the niche perspective, right? Because the niche perspective lies in your broad topic, and so try to get as much of that content as you can, and then give it a really powerful prompt saying, I want you to consider this niche perspective. Can you generate a blog outline purely based on this niche perspective? And then I'll see what the AI agent would generate, or what the LLM would generate. Because once you give it that particular very specific instruction to focus on that particular niche perspective, it will do its best to look at the content that you've given it, and then try to think about how that niche perspective relates to that content and can be drawn from the content to create a blog outline. So hopefully that was helpful. I might make a new video. Tell me what the topic is, and then tell me the perspective that you want to write about, and then I'll do a live. You know what? I promise you, I'll do a live video of me writing that topic using the AI agent, and I'll do it for free. So I'll show you on the video, and hopefully this will be helpful for other people as well, other law firms in very niche areas of law, or other sort of publishers talking about very niche topics. So yeah, just leave it in the comments of today's video, and I'll write it for you. Thanks so much, different perspectives. Okay, so the second question is Ryan Haley. Thanks so much, Ryan, for commenting on my how to side hustle with a 9 to 5 video. Really appreciate you taking the time to make these videos. What made you decide to leave legal behind? Um, well, it's nah. I should probably make a full video on this, but to keep it short, the I stopped enjoying the actual work I stopped enjoying the actual legal work of reviewing contracts, negotiating with other lawyers and stakeholders on amendments, back and forth amendments, reading legislation, trying to figure out a new way of a new interpretation to an existing issue, etc., etc. I stopped finding joy in that, and I couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. The reason why I couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life, has a lot of different reasons behind that. Right, one is traditionally lawyers earn most of their wealth, build most of their wealth towards the back end of their career. So when they're in their probably earliest, probably at the mid 30s, all the way up to the 50s, and I ain't got time to wait to build wealth. You know, that long. It's just I'm still young, relatively. I'm 29, and I want to build wealth as early as I can, and I don't want to wait to do that. And so that's one reason. And honestly, the other reason, to put it very bluntly, is there's some people that I was working with in my most previous position that I really hated. Like I hated them, not irrationally. I hated them rationally. They had a reason to be hated, just like how there's so many other people around me that hated them as well. And I'm not going to be more specific than that, but yeah, it's just that's the reason why I left legal behind. And I haven't really left legal behind because I'm still working with lawyers. I like working with lawyers. I like the way they think. I empathize with the way they think because I was a lawyer for half a decade. So I know how to work with them. I know how they think. I know what they want. I know what their priorities are. So it helps me as a business owner helping other law firms get clients, to understand all that perspective. So I didn't leave legal behind. I'm just in another area in legal that's not in the traditional uh, lawyering type of sense. So hopefully that was helpful, Ryan. Um, leave a comment down below. Let me know what Are you a lawyer as well? Hopefully, I didn't shit on any lawyers and the profession. I love lawyers. The lawyers are great, but it's just the type of work I couldn't see myself doing much longer, and also just unfortunately circumstances I was in before I left was put me in contact with some bad people that I really didn't like and just put me off. So yeah, hopefully my answers were helpful. And yeah, let me just leave a response. Replied in BIP9. Okay. Last thing I want to do is I want to plug the show notes. Okay, so if you want to get access to the show notes, follow the link in the description, and you'll be emailed the link to the show notes. You can bookmark that, and you can access it at any time. And also, I want to do a huge self promo of Merlin AI. So the tool that I use here is called Merlin AI. I'm not just plugging them because they have an affiliate program that I just signed up 30 minutes ago. I plug them because I look at all the history. I use them all the time. I use it like every day, essentially. And so they're really, really good. It's like unlimited. They have unlimited tokens that you can use within reason, but I haven't reached the limit at all yet. And you access all the LLMs, like literally every major LLM. And it's so it's great. I don't use ChatGPT anymore. I don't use Claude anymore. I just go to Merlin AI and doing it and just use there instead. And it also allows me to actually more easily experiment with different prompts and see which LLMs work with different prompting. So especially the ones that are coming out new. Like I'm still yet to use Claude 3.7 Sonnet Thinking. So yeah, huge plug. There's a reason why I'm plugging, and that's because you can get $5 per month for the rest of your life, essentially. Normally, it's $19, which is already the discounted price. Normally, the RRP is $29 per month, but I don't think they've ever actually sold it at $29 a month. But $5 a month to get access to all the LLMs with unlimited tokens within reason. But I've never hit the token limit, so up to you guys. Click the link, and you will be able to sign up. So, thanks so much, guys. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video. See ya.